I was born in Covington County, a little town called Andalusia. Family had a little farm over there. I lived in town, but I spent a lot of my time out on the farm with my uncle when I was growing up. Went through high school in Andalusia, then went to Auburn and got a degree in fisheries at Auburn. And then first job I was in Georgia. Went to work in Georgia for 2 years. And then I got a call from Alabama and had a chance to come home in 1980. So we moved back here to Enterprise in 1980. I had a wonderful job. Most people would kill for my job. I never worked a day in my life. My working attire was mainly short breeches and t-shirts and riding on a boat or staying on the water, talking to farmers about their ponds. I spent a lot of time outdoors. It wasn't an office job. And came in one day and had my time in, and I wanted to spend more time at the farm here. And I came in and told Joan, I said, Joan, I think I'm gonna retire. And her first response was, well, you're a fool. And I said, why is that? She said, well, right now you get paid to go fishing. You'll still be doing the same thing, you just won't get paid for it. And I didn't have a comeback for that.
Joan answers the question, what does it mean to you to be the owner of such a property?
It is exciting for us as biologists and conservationists. It is fun for us as far as recreation is concerned, and it has added a dimension to us for sharing with our friends, our civic groups in our community, our church community. So it's new. My family's earlier generations owns property in West Alabama. We continue to go there, but as far as being a landowner, I'm just tagging along with Mike Newman.
Why own such a place?
I still work full-time, and you're exactly right, why here, why this? Because you have minimal hours that you've not committed to a work life. So, and I would say immediately look at the setting. My why this and why I would choose this is the tranquility of this place and the peacefulness of this place. The other why this is because we really feel so strongly about being in a position to share it. It is close to our home. We still live in Enterprise. We're less than 15 minutes away. So we have other professionals, ministers in our church, others that see the benefit of the tranquility. So that's pretty high on my list right now, in addition to the fact that it's just a fun place to come.
Doug and Mike Newman inspect the dove field area, and we learn some interesting things about this particular dove field.
Mike, we're in the middle of your dove field here, and it looks like this right here is something that I know I eat a good bit on top of some things. It's what?
That is sesame. This is the first year I've planted it for doves. It makes a tremendous amount of seed, and it's easy to grow. The doves like it, but it's exactly what you would find on your hamburger bun or your roll in a restaurant. It's sesame seed.
Mike, this is something, when I first came on the place, I looked up there and I said, is that what I really think it is or looks like? I didn't see any insulators or anything on this. Tell me what this is.
Well, when you're retired, you got a lot of time on your hands. So one day I didn't have anything to do, so me and a friend of mine decided to get us some poles up and put us a dove line up. Okay. I don't know if you've ever noticed, but when you're driving down the highway and you see doves sitting on lines all the time, and doves like to be around other doves, and you can lower the bottom line with the winch there and put decoys up and raise the line back up with the decoys, and then when the doves come in, they'll come to those decoys, and it really makes for some fun shooting.
Doug, Mike, and Alabama Forestry Commission forester for Coffee County, Nick Granger, discussed the history and activity on this thin loblolly pine plantation, established by Mike early on in the ownership of the property.
I think we probably mentioned earlier, you did, about planting trees on the property because it was clear cut and really retaining the hardwoods along the river area, and actually bought that timber back so that they wouldn't cut it. But these trees here, I guess, are on the area that was clear cut. When did all this happen?
It's amazing. Nature has a way of recovering. If you'd seen this place when we first bought it back in the mid-'80s, we site prepped it, we burned it, and it was just absolutely looked like a war zone. But nature has a way of recovering. These trees here, Joan and I actually planted a lot of these trees. They were this big as seedlings, and now look at them.
Nick, do you help with the burning, or do you recommend
I've suggested to Mike about when to burn, what time of the year. Mike does all his own burning, but he'll call me and say, hey, you think it's okay to burn? And I'll say, yeah. And he tries to do that every 2 to 3 years on the pine stands.
This well-established food plot served as the parking lot when this Pea River Tree Farm hosted the 2014 South Alabama Regional Field Day in October. Mike explains the management, distribution, and use of the 30 plots on the property.
Mike, this is a real good looking plot. In fact, it's lush and close to the river, got hardwoods on one side, and it's just a good looking plot. And what have you got in it, and has it been utilized much by people?
Yes, we had the forestry tour back in October, so I had to wait till we got through with the tour before I planted it, and we got a rain on it right after the tour, and it's really come on pretty strong. Of course, this being December now, hunting season's in, but planted rye, planted wheat, planted oats, got clover, and have turnips. And actually, I mentioned to you, like for kids to hunt, get their first deer. I actually had a kid sit here yesterday, and his daddy said he got so nervous when the buck came out that the shooting house over there started rattling, and he missed the buck. So that's a sure sign the deer are using it.
Just look at what 27 years will do to young hardwood saplings and seedlings when left alone to grow undisturbed.
Mike, we're standing here in a good stand of white oak here on natural bottomland hardwood stand. How much of the property do you think has got this type timber on it?
Well, counting the stream management zone along the river, and this right here, when it was logged, when property first sold, was a little too wet to log. Plus the trees were small, they weren't that valuable. But probably close to half the property is in hardwoods.
Well, this is real pretty right in here.
Beautiful.
It really is. And it probably does an awful lot for the wildlife.
This stand of white oaks here, been quite a few deer taken here under these white oaks.
Well, I can believe
whenever
that.
they're making acorns. It doesn't happen every year.
Yeah, well, that's true with white oak.
And plus, it's just a pretty place to walk. I enjoy coming out and just taking a walk. I got 2 Labrador retrievers. Me and the dogs are real good buddies, and a lot of times they come with me and we just take a walk in the woods. This is one of the places we like to walk.
Well, if somebody doesn't enjoy a place like this, they have to have a very boring life.
They've got to be from New York City or somewhere.
There you go. All they know is concrete and asphalt.
Concrete and asphalt.
Okay.
And that's what we're trying to do, is get some of the kids in town out so they can appreciate wildlife and wild things and know about this for future generations, hopefully.
The forest on this next part of our tour of this tree farm can only be found mainly in the extreme deep southern coastal plain and is a rare sight to many, and few actually experience venturing into such a setting as this.
Mike, this is basically a cypress and tupelo pond, and right now, no water here.
It's dry. We're in a drought period. Usually it's got water in it in the wintertime, and it floods the oak flats out there, and it's usually a great place for the waterfowl. But right now, I mean, you know, waterfowl, they like to have a little water around.
Yeah,
Right now it's a little dry.
a lot of beaver. You see old beaver damage on the trees here.
We just have to live with them. Just have to live with them.
How many acres you think's in this particular pond?
I would guess probably 30 or 40 acres. It's not all in cypress. You can see it's hardwood and the real low spots are cypress. But the whole place is flooded whenever we get rain. So probably 30 or 40 acres wet pond.
I sincerely hope you have enjoyed your visit with Mike and Joan Newman, our 2014 Alabama Tree Farm Family of the Year.